All right, today we're jumping into one of the most powerful, and let's be honest, one of the most visually wild legends in Hindu mythology, the story of Varaha, the third incarnation of the god Vishnu.
And this really is the central question, isn't it? I mean, of all the forms a god could take, why a boar? A fish? A tortoise? Even a half-man, half-lion? You can kind of see the logic there. But a giant boar to save the world? Okay, that's what we're going to unpack.
And look, this isn't just some dusty academic question. As you can see from this comment online, people are genuinely curious about this. They want to understand the why behind this very specific, very powerful divine choice. So today, we're going to get you that answer.
So, here's how we're going to do it. We'll start with that big question, why a boar? Then we'll set the stage with the cosmic crisis that made a hero necessary. We'll see exactly why the boar was the perfect choice for the mission. After that, we'll look at how this incredible story was literally carved in stone, compare Varaha to another major avatar, and finally trace the boar's incredible legacy through time.
Okay, first things first. Every great hero story needs a huge problem to solve, right? And this one, well, it unfolds on a truly cosmic scale.
So, the story goes, according to texts like the Vishnu Purana, this incredibly powerful demon named Hiranyaksha literally drags the earth, personified as the goddess Bhudevi, down, down, down into the depths of the primeval cosmic ocean. Now, this isn't just a flood we're talking about. This is an act of pure chaos that throws the entire universe completely out of whack. The stage is definitely set for some kind of divine intervention.
So, you've got the Earth, lost in this dark, watery abyss. You're going to need a very specific set of skills for this rescue mission. And this, right here, is where the choice of a boar starts to make a whole lot of sense.
You see, the boar wasn't just some random choice. It was the perfect tool for the job. Think about it. First, you need to search. The scriptures say Varaha used his incredible sense of smell to track down the earth in that vast, murky water. Second, you gotta dive. The texts describe his hooves as being sharp as arrows, just cutting through the depths. Third, you need to lift. I mean, what's better for dredging something from the muck and hoisting it to safety than a boar's powerful snout and those huge clamp-like tusks? And finally, you have to fight. Now, a wild boar is a herbivore, sure, but it is unbelievably ferocious and deadly when it's provoked, which is exactly what was needed to take down a demon like Hiranyaksha.
Now, a story this powerful, this epic, it wasn't just going to stay in books. It inspired centuries of absolutely incredible art. Ancient sculptors took this myth and gave it a physical form that, lucky for us, we can still see today.
And what's fascinating is that artists really went in two main directions. On one hand, you have the zoomorphic form. That's the full animal, all boar, which really emphasizes that raw, primal, earthy power. And on the other hand, you have the therianthropic form. That's the hybrid with a human body and a boar's head, which showcases the divine Vishnu within that animal form. And both of these styles started showing up way back in the Gupta period, between the 4th and 6th centuries.
And wow, this is a perfect example of that zoomorphic or full animal form. This sculpture from a place called Iran is one of the earliest ones we know of. The archaeologist who documented it called it remarkable for its size and beauty. You can just feel the sheer weight and power of this thing, even just looking at a picture. It's immense.
But then, check out the insane level of detail artists got to later on. This Varaha's body is literally a canvas. It's completely covered in these tiny, intricate carvings of gods, goddesses, and sages. And this wasn't just for decoration, you know? This was basically theology carved in stone. It was meant to symbolize that the divine boar contained the entire universe within its own body. Just incredible. And the style wasn't the same everywhere across India. So on the left, you see that super detailed, embellished style from Rajasthan we were just looking at. But then on the right, you've got a Varaha from Anjaneri in Maharashtra, and it's much plainer. You don't see all those little figures carved on its body. It just goes to show how different regions developed their own unique artistic spin on the very same powerful myth. Okay, so this whole story of divine intervention has a really interesting parallel. Varaha, the boar, defeated the demon Hiranyaksha. But Hiranyakshipu had an equally famous or infamous brother, Hiranyakashipu, who was taken down by another of Vishnu's avatars, Narasimha, the man-lion. And when you compare the two, it brings up another fantastic question. So if Varaha was this unstoppable force of nature, could he have just taken care of the brother too? Could the boar have done the lion's job?
It's a really interesting thing to think about, especially when you consider the very unique problem that Hiranyakashipu presented.
Well, the answer really lies in their totally different missions. Each avatar had what you could call a surgical purpose. Varaha's mission was functional: rescue the earth from the bottom of the ocean. His form was a boar, a powerful animal perfectly suited for that task. Narsimha's mission was totally different. It was to protect a specific person, the devotee Prahlad, from his own father, Hiranyakashipu, and his hybrid half-man, half-lion form was specifically designed to get around a super complex boon that made the demon impossible to kill by a normal man or a normal animal. So, see, the pure animal form of Varaha just wouldn't have worked. Each crisis needed its own unique, custom-designed solution.
So the story of Varaha didn't just end there in ancient texts and sculptures. Its influence has been echoing down through centuries of Indian culture, politics, and even modern scientific thought.
I mean, you can literally trace its journey through time. The basic idea shows up in one of the earliest Vedic texts. Then, the full, dramatic story with the demon gets fleshed out in the Puranas. We see it explode into art during the Gupta period. And by medieval times, powerful empires like the Chalukyas and Vijayanagara were so inspired by this image of a protector who restores order that they actually adopted the boar as the royal symbol.
And its legacy is just incredibly rich and diverse. It was a symbol of royal power and protection. The figure even pops up in Buddhism and Jainism. Fast forward to more modern times, and some people interpret the 10 avatars of Vishnu as a kind of metaphor for evolution, with the fish representing life and water, and Varaha, the boar, symbolizing the emergence of mammals on land. But through it all, at its heart, it remains this powerful spiritual reminder of courage and the ultimate triumph of good over evil.
So, back to our original question, why a boar? Well, because it was the absolute perfect blend of function and symbolism. A creature of the earth, strong enough to save it. A form that inspired artists for thousands of years and carried this incredibly deep meaning about protection, order, and doing the right thing.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The story of Vara shows that the forms we imagine for our gods aren't just random. They're often these deeply practical, symbolic, and beautiful answers to the biggest challenges we can possibly imagine. Which really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What do the forms we give our gods truly tell us about ourselves?